Sam Flannel, I got to ask you, man. Like, I'm just being real. Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. Okay. Like, what does this do for them?
You know what?
Because I'm in the camp of I believe the Jets, they had to do this move. It didn't work out with Zach Wilson. They needed a quarterback. They have a good roster, good defense. They have some weapons. Robert Saleh, not sold on completely, but they did bring in Nathaniel Hackett. It seems like they were pretty much priming for Aaron Rodgers to be a New York Jet. But now that he is a New York Jet, before we get to the NFC North and how it affects the Lions, what does this mean for the Jets? How much higher does their ceiling raise with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback?
See, Jeff, I think you're being a little bit too flippant about Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, because we have to remember that the Jets were competing for a playoff spot up until the end of the year with Zach Wilson, Mike White, and Joe Flacco's corpse as their quarterbacks. Ooh. One of the worst quarterback situations in all of the NFL. And don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers isn't even close to what he used to be. And we all know that there is some baggage and a headache that you get with having Aaron Rodgers on this team. But we have to also remember that this is a roster that's been constructed around that has some players. You got Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year, All-Pro corner as a rookie, arguably the best corner in the league. He's basically prime Darrelle Revis as a rookie, and you think he's only going to get better. You got Quinnen Williams on the defensive line. Breece Hall, who, if he didn't get hurt, probably would have been in the running for Rookie of the Year because on a per-game basis, he was absolutely electric. And then you got a guy like C.J. Mosley at the linebacking core. So to me, Aaron Rodgers, if you put him on the New York Jets, which you are now doing, this is a team that can absolutely compete for a playoff spot. And once they get into the playoffs, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they do some damage. I think a lot of Lions fans disrespect Aaron Rodgers a little bit too much and discount the fact that he is going to come in and be so much better than what they had last year. And he has a lot of talent around him. Arguably, if everything pans out, one of the best rosters he's ever had.
Okay. No, all that sounds great. Like, really,
right.
I think you did a really good job laying it out. It sounds beautiful. But shame on 47% of you in the poll that said they're contenders. Shame on you. Shame on you. Are they a playoff contender? Yeah. Contender. As in, for a Super Bowl? No. What evidence do I have to go off of? He was in an easier conference. He had a good roster with the Packers, easy division to win, and you're telling me he couldn't do it then, but now in the AFC in a much tougher division, in a much tougher conference, he's going to win, or he's a contender now? Hell no. No, he's not. The Jets, to me, and this is why the whole Aaron Rodgers move, it's out of desperation. But still, you're telling me the Jets are legitimate Super Bowl contenders with the Bengals, the Chiefs. I don't even have to go any further. We'll just stop there. Because those are the two teams in the AFC title game last year. The Jets aren't beating either of them. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. If Aaron couldn't do it in the NFC with Aaron Jones, right? He had a good run game, solid run game, even with Jamal Williams, Devontae Adams. They had a good defense, whether you want to say it or not. They had talent. And you talk about first-round exits consistently. And now in the AFC, in a much tougher conference, in a much harder division with the Bills, Patriots, and Dolphins in his own division, the chat, 48% of you are telling me they're contenders.
You know, the only thing...
Am I crazy, Sam?
Here's why you're not crazy. And this is the one piece of evidence that I will give you that I actually agree with. They're not beating the Chiefs. They're not beating the Bengals. They might not even beat the Bills or even the Jacksonville Jaguars at this point. But this idea that Aaron Rodgers, first off, you completely discount the Super Bowl that he actually won. I know a lot of people forget that, but he actually won the Super Bowl and had one of the best Super Bowl performances ever. And did you know that in his playoff career, Aaron Rodgers, 45 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, has a higher career playoff passer rating than Tom Brady and a higher career yards per attempt in the playoffs than Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is the GOAT and Aaron Rodgers is a choker. I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is a better playoff quarterback than Tom Brady. I'm just saying that it is a team game. And Aaron Rodgers, I would say more often than he's been bad in the playoffs, he has been unlucky. This team, I keep saying it, I said it at the very beginning, last year's quarterbacks for the New York Jets were Mike White, Zach Wilson, and old-ass Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers is an immense upgrade over them. But let me just give this one other angle, and I'm kind of curious to see what you think about this, Jeff. Mm-hmm. This just shows how you can draft as well as the Jets have recently. As I just mentioned, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall last year, and then having Quinnen Williams a few years ago, he's still on the team. If you don't get your quarterback right, there is a finite ceiling. Just imagine if Zach Wilson was giving you what Trevor Lawrence is giving you for Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, imagine if he was giving you what Mac Jones was giving the Patriots and Justin Fields was giving the Bears. You wouldn't need to go out and get Aaron Rodgers. You'd probably be a contending team right now.
With that, Zach Wilson on a rookie
Absolutely.
contract, which is even more valuable.
But
Yeah.
Zach Wilson, even though he's on a rookie contract, he's terrible. He blows. He's basically the reincarnation of Josh Rosen. He has shown you absolutely nothing that he is an NFL quarterback. But if he was, I could see the Jets being contenders. The ideal scenario isn't for the Jets to have to go out and get Aaron Rodgers, trade for him, take on his contract, all that stuff. It would be for Zach Wilson to actually not suck at quarterback. But here we are.
JB, I need your thoughts on it, man. Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets, what does this mean for them? Are they Super Bowl contenders, playoff contenders? Where do you stand with them? With the Jets, the new look New York Jets.
The new look New York Jets. I'm not going as far as saying they're playoff contenders or Super Bowl contenders, but playoffs, you have to give them a look. You really have to. Adding Aaron Rodgers, even though we might not agree, we might dislike him as much as everyone else, like, he's still Aaron Rodgers. As Stephen A. Smith says, a bad, bad man. And with a lot of the weapons that the Jets have acquired for Aaron Rodgers, like, come on, you're just serving up playoffs for him, just serving it up.
And I love this too. Big Con 51, WoodwardSports.com. Jeff, did you think the Bucs were Super Bowl contenders first year Brady was there? Alex, put the camera on me. What do you think?
Stop it. Get some help.
Jeff, let me rephrase that question. Jeff, do you think the greatest quarterback of all time on a stacked roster was a Super Bowl contender? Yeah, I did. Aaron Rodgers? You talk about postseason success with Tom Brady, they're not even in the same breath. And I know what Sam's saying, because individually, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, one of the most talented quarterbacks you've ever seen. I'm talking about postseason. And yes, you can say whatever you want about Tom Brady, but I have evidence. I don't really have it with Aaron Rodgers, despite what, I mean, I've seen home playoff games where he loses. So, no, it's different. Yes, with the Bucs. No, with the Jets right now. And honestly, on top of that, you're forgetting a big part of that. Bruce Arians was the head coach of the Bucs. You're going into Robert Saleh. And listen, Dearborn native, I get all of that. But what do I have with Robert Saleh? I got one season with 4 different quarterbacks, but they what were they, 7-3 to pretty much going almost 500. I don't have a lot of evidence with Robert Saleh to confidently say they're Super Bowl contenders. That would be idiotic of me to say that.
Well, Robert Saleh is also a defensive coach, and I've always been in the camp, at least in the modern era of football, despite Robert Saleh showing some things as a coach that he has potential, I would hire an offensive guy personally, at least when it comes to grooming a young quarterback, which they tried to do with Zach Wilson. That obviously failed. And Bruce Arians, he doesn't get enough credit for being.
He already had a Super Bowl before.
I would say he's maybe not an offensive guru, but he is one of the more talented offensive minds in the last 10, 15, 20 years at that point. So I get it. The Bucs were obviously Super Bowl contenders once Brady got there, but I'm glad you mentioned they had quite a good roster, because the year before they almost made the playoffs with Jameis Winston throwing 33 touchdowns and 30 picks.
30 for 30 season.
So all Tom Brady had to do was come in, play his game, not turn the football over, and they turned into Super Bowl contenders, which they won that year. I'll give him that, even though their defense held the Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs to 9 points in the Super Bowl. Obviously that doesn't matter to Tom Brady fans, but that did happen.
So I have a question for you guys. How do you think this relationship between him and Zach Wilson is going to pan out?
God.
Knowing who Aaron is, Aaron is, if you talk about ego, he's got a huge ego. So I don't think Aaron would view it as it's my job to coach Zach Wilson, just like it wasn't his job. He didn't feel like to coach Jordan Love. I mean, I think, he's probably going to be willing to lend him a helping hand, but at the end of the day, I think Aaron Rodgers realizes, hey, bud, your team brought me here because you couldn't do it. So, that's the whole thing. That's why one thing I do agree with Aaron Rodgers about is people assume it's his job to groom his backup quarterback, Jordan Love, or now Zach Wilson. No, it isn't. It isn't. I'm sorry. He could do it. It would be nice like Alex Smith with Patrick Mahomes, but he doesn't have to. So for relationship, to answer the question, I think he might just be like, hey, what up, Zach? Yeah, you're my backup now. But, maybe in practice I'll give you a tip or two, but that's about it. I don't think Aaron and Zach are going to be tied at the hip, talking all the time. I don't see that.
I agree with that. That's an interesting question, Gabby. I think it could potentially be one of the worst relationships that like an old quarterback, an old superstar quarterback, and a young quarterback have. We talk about Aaron Rodgers. We obviously talk about somebody who doesn't really have any interest in grooming the young quarterbacks, and I don't actually blame him for that. For the record,
I don't either.
And Zach Wilson, he has shown that he's not really a high character kind of guy, like him standing on a podium after leading the Jets to 3 points and the defense gave up 3 in a punt return and basically said, I couldn't do any better, or whatever he said. He took absolutely no accountability for that garbage performance. So to me, they might not even be on speaking terms at some point. They might not even really talk during practices. I think it's as bad of a combination when it comes to personalities as can possibly be. You can't get much worse than Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson.
And Gabby, I guess Cody answered your question. He said Rodgers can't even get along with his family, let alone his backup.
That's true.
So,
Great point.
yeah, you know what?
Great
if he
point.
can't get along with his family, I doubt he's going to get along with Zach Wilson.
And Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, you
I mean-
know that he has like this much respect for Zach Wilson.
Oh, my, yeah. Are
I
you
mean,
kidding
honestly,
me?
Zach Wilson has shown you nothing as an NFL quarterback, and he's shown that he's a little bit of a punk. And as I said before, he sucks at quarterback right now, or at least at NFL quarterback. So to me, and also Aaron Rodgers, there's no threat Zach Wilson gives.
But
And-
what about Zach Wilson's comments that he said, hey, I'm going to make that guy's life a living hell? You
Ah,
guys
that's
think
funny.
that's going to happen?
Wait, he said that about who?
Well, he just said that about whoever the quarterback, the veteran quarterback that was going to come into camp. So, do you guys believe that? Yes or no?
The only thing that will be a living hell is watching him throw the football, which has already been for his first couple
Yeah,
years.
I'll say it's been a living hell just watching Zach Wilson on national television. So I think we've got enough of that, Zach. Thank you, though, for your gesture. It's very kind of you. But we'll just keep watching Aaron Rodgers. I think it's much more as much as I want to critique Aaron and call the Jets not legitimate Super Bowl contenders, I'd much rather watch Aaron Rodgers for 17 games than anything worthy of Zach Wilson. Hell, I liked Mike White better. And now Mike White's over in Miami now, backing up to him.
Mike White actually had some good games and some
He
highs,
did.
which Zach Wilson did not
He threw
have.
for 300 yards, like twice. And he threw for 400, I believe, once.
Mike White is one of those guys that I think will be best as a career backup. He can come in and give you spot starts that actually keep your team afloat. But Jeff, Zach Wilson's the MILF hunter, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, he's a dog, right?
He's smooth. Yeah, he
F that.
See all the things you say about Zach. You notice how they're all off the field with the compliments. Well, he's a MILF hunter. What can you do on the field? That's the question.
Nothing.
I wish I
nothing.
could defend him a little bit since I was called his doppelganger last week on the show. I wish I could defend him a little bit, but I just
You
can't.
got nothing.
I got nothing.
See, Zach, not even Gabby has anything for
Not
you.
even
So
Gabby.
that should tell you a lot.